Welcome back to How to Become a Real Estate Developer. This is lesson 4. In lesson 4, we are going to go down a journey of planning. We're going to do project planning. We're going to talk about costs, breakdowns, budgets, and timelines. So let's get started. So, project planning 101. What is that all about? When you are starting your journey of developing your first project, or any project for that matter, you must have a plan. You must have a project plan. Now, thankfully, we have a checklist for this as well. So you will not have to create this project plan on your own, but you absolutely must create a project plan for every single project you work on. One, so you can keep organized or stay organized. Two, so that you can maintain your your sanity while you're working on multiple projects, because I believe you're going to be a developer that continues to attract people who want you to develop their projects over and over again. So you got to stay organized. So let's get started. When you are planning your project, the first thing you have to understand, and we talked about this in lesson 3 with your pro forma, is how much is this project going to cost? The pro forma really helps you outline all of the hidden costs and then all of the actual costs that you see that are really easy to see. It's really easy to see how much wood is going to cost and how much the masonry is going to cost on a particular building after you get your quote from the builder, whoever the general contractor is. That's easy. It's not so easy to look at marketing cost and other costs that you don't necessarily see every day. So when you're doing your project plan, you're going to develop the cost overall for the entire project, both overt costs that you can see and then those hidden costs as well. The second part is going to be your timeline. Now, everyone has hopes and dreams, I did too, of starting a project and finishing it in 12 to 18 months. OMG, that doesn't work. You still should have some type of understanding of when you want to start and finish the project. But my first project took almost 5 years, y'all. If it took me almost 5 years, let it take you less than that, but it's still probably going to be some years for your development project, unless the project is permitted and already ready to go. And you've got financing ready to go, right? And there are no environmental concerns and no hazards, and all the utilities are there and everything works just perfectly. Oh, and the weather's good. All of those things have to be in existence at the exact same time in order for that project to have a shorter timeline. So know what your proposed timeline is, but also plan a few contingencies in case things don't go right, because they won't. So make sure you understand your timelines. Lastly, in your project plan, you've got to understand your budget. So cost and budgets are two different things. Budget needs the cost estimate, but the budget also includes things that are going to come in the future. The costs are what it costs right now and what are today's uncovered costs and today's costs that you can see. The budget factors in the future. It factors in operating expenses for a year after the development finally finishes and people are hired or the property is sold, and what is it going to take to keep the project going, or to terminate the project and keep the project or get rid of the project altogether. So you need the cost, you need the timeline, and you need the budget in your project plan. Now, the pro forma. Why do we keep harping on the pro forma? The pro forma is probably the most important tool, most important thing of any development. Yes, you need a site plan. Yes, you need to understand how much it costs to build whatever thing you want to build on your site plan. Yes, you need architectural plans because you got to know how much it costs to build that building on the site. But all of that is all of that story is told in the pro forma. But there's one thing you need in the pro forma that we don't talk about that much, and it always comes up with any financial institution, and that's your sources and use. Sources and uses, rather, are the sources for all of your funding and what are you going to use it for. And so you've got to get down to the nitty-gritty of understanding where all the money is coming in and how is it going to be spent. So that part of your pro forma, it can be attached to the pro forma, or it can be a separate entity or separate document rather, but that is important. So the pro forma and sources of use are also to be included in your project plan. Now, we have a checklist. It starts like this. defining your project vision, etc. And it goes through your project concept and feasibility. And so this checklist will help you get started on just your project plan altogether. I highly recommend you put this at the beginning of every development project you want to do and simply use the checkoff method. You can fill it in electronically and just check off when you've done that thing, or you can print it off for every project and physically make a checkbox. But this checklist will help you project plan every single one of your developments. And as you plan every single one of your developments, you will get very clear on how to carry out every development project from here on out and make sure that you're not missing key steps along the way. And that concludes Lesson 4 on project planning.